Oh, hey, didn't see you there. I guess you're here today to see what I'm gonna make. If you saw the title or the thumbnail, you know exactly what I'm gonna be doing today, which is Terrifier cosplay. I'm planning on making full facial prosthetics of Art the Clown. And then for the wardrobe, I'm going to be doing something a little twisted, I guess. I kind of want to make an Art the Clown sexy version. I've never done prosthetics before, but I've always really been interested in special effects makeup. I mean, I grew up watching Face Off, so obviously I'm probably an expert. First, we're gonna find some reference images. I recently watched Terrifier 2, absolutely disgusting. I loved it. I think my favorite part of the movie was the laundromat scene, and if you've seen it, you know. The reference images that I need will be facial and not so much the wardrobe, because like I said, I'm gonna be doing something different with that. I wanna get frontal, preferably some with some decent lighting. I have teeth that I wanna use for this, and I'm just gonna use my own mouth. I'm not gonna be sculpting around the mouth too much. I'm mainly doing brows and around the eyes and cheekbones, and then a chin and nose. And I plan to do those as separate pieces. In my research on how to do prosthetics for, you know, the beginner or the amateur artist, there's two different methods that I can use. One is doing a sculpt and then applying the latex directly onto that. The thing is, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make it smooth enough. And then the other way is sculpting and then putting plaster on top of that and then putting the latex inside of the plaster. I think I might try the just painting the latex on top of the sculpture initially, and if that doesn't work, then I might move on to the plaster one. The reason I'm not doing that immediately is because it just seems kind of hard. I don't know if my skills are there, so hopefully that'll all work out. I'm a complete noob at this, and I'm a little bit nervous, and I'm excited. I think I've got a few decent reference images, and now I'm gonna sketch out the plan for where to go from here. Okay, so my favorite reference image is actually from the original prosthetic artist. Oh no, not me realizing that I only painted one hand today. If that's not indicative of my mental state at most times, I don't know what is. Here is me. Face, we're gonna worry about that later. Middle hands. I found this black tulle skirt at Goodwill. Would be absolutely perfect. I haven't decided whether I'm gonna be cutting it or not, so it's gonna be a question mark right now. Otherwise, I have some long white gloves to sex it up a little bit. And as for the shirts, I bought two different tank tops, and one's white and one's black. So I'm going to be cutting them both down the middle. One half of his outfit, his left side is black, so right side is white, and then a couple of pom-poms, which for these, I got appropriately two clown noses that I'm going to be spray painting black. I'm not sure whether I'm gonna make a ruff or not. I think it'd be kind of cute if I did. They're a ruff. Is that how you spell it? I don't know. Or a choker. Let me remember how to spell real quick. And then I have a balaclava in white. I also have a little top hat, which weirdly enough, I had it before I even planned on doing this cosplay, so that's pretty cool of me. Might add a bit of blood. I think I will cut the fingers off of the gloves, and they're also kind of dirty. So I hope you love my beautiful, wonderful sketch. But this is really just to get an idea of the whole plan. As for the face, I don't feel like I really need to sketch it out. My sculpting process has always just been see as I go, do as I go, I don't know. Also got some cool diamond-y leggings or stockings that I think I might be adding. Probably just some black boots, or I could wear my white dock. I think it's time to start thinking about the sculpt. Let's get started. So before I start sculpting, I need to introduce you to somebody. This is my little friend who's gonna be my stand-in for my life cast. I have never made a life cast before. Honestly, it just sounds horrible. I've got extreme claustrophobia and I really don't want to sit underneath some alginate and plaster for as long as that needs to take. So I found a decent stand-in on Amazon. I think her features are similar enough to mine to where I think it's going to work. Plus it's going to be made out of latex, which is kind of stretchy, and doing it in multiple pieces. So I think that this might work. What do you think? Does she look like me enough? I don't know, we'll see. She also needs a name. If you have any ideas for names, please comment down below. I'm going to be sculpting with some oil-based clay because you don't want it to dry. It's pretty pliable when you add a little bit of heat, usually body warmth. Just your hands can help with that, or some hot air from a blow dryer. All right, she's all set up and ready to sculpt upon. I generally don't like to work in the quiet, so please enjoy this montage while I listen to some music. So I have a variety of sculpting tools that I've had forever. I don't actually end up using a lot of them in this, but they're always nice to have. So grab some clay and start sculpting. This is the point that I start realizing that the face is too slick to sculpt on, so I actually have to clean it off using some makeup remover and a bit of witch hazel. All right, back to sculpting. What I'm trying to do is block out the major high points on the face to start with, just starting big and then getting to the finer details after you already have a foundation. For art, I think the major focal point is the nose because it's what protrudes the most. And in my opinion, it's so much easier to sculpt on a face that's already formed, like a life cast or a mannequin, because you have those shapes already there for you, so you just have to embellish them. So I'm adding onto the nose to make it a lot bigger, like art's, and then the same with the cheekbones. And then obviously the chin is a lot more pronounced too. And now I'm just trying to smooth some of the bits out, adding more clay to build up the entire face. And then gradually adding more to the chin and the cheekbones and the brows to really build those up and make them look menacing. And then finally I come in with some tools to do some of those smaller details around the nose, because it's kind of hard to get your fingers in those weird angles. But because this is a face and not actually a small sculpture, I feel like my hands did a really good job at getting the details that I wanted up until this point. So I've been sculpting for about 2 hours now. I think it's looking pretty awesome, but I think I'm gonna call it a night and then come back to it tomorrow to do some of the finer details and smooth it out. So yeah, here she is. Well, good morrow, weary travelers. Today, I'm going to be finishing up the sculpt, adding some finer detail, and smoothing everything out so we can get ready for the latex application. And it's funny, I said I wasn't going to do a full face sculpt, but here we are with a full face. I think that was the only way to do it because art has such a gaunt look that takes over the entire face that it was kind of unavoidable. Then after the sculpt is done, it's a couple of steps to get it ready for the application of the latex. And then once that's dry, take it off, see how it did. And then if it's not great, I might try to do the actual plaster molding of it. Time to get started again. So today I'm starting out applying some heat with a heat gun just to try to limber up that clay that's kind of hardened a little bit with the cooler air. And And then once again, coming in with some tools around the nose and mouth just to differentiate those shapes from the rest of the face. And then here I'm really trying to define the jawline. And now I need to smooth out the whole thing, but I'm gonna try either alcohol or mineral oil just to get rid of some of those little fine imperfections like fingerprints. I started out with the alcohol, but I didn't really like how drying it was initially because I'm really trying to keep it moist so it's workable. And then I found that the baby oil was a lot easier to kind of mush everything around better. The clay is oil-based, so I feel like helps like in this situation. And now I'm adding some of those wrinkles and finer details that really give Art's face some more character. And now I'm going around the edges and trimming so that I can smooth them out and make them as thin as possible. And then I finish everything up by smoothing with the alcohol just to get everything kind of even. I'm done with the sculpting part, and I think it's never really gonna look finished until it's painted, so I like it. It's not gonna look exactly like art, but then again, I'm doing kind of like my own little twist on this cosplay. So next, I'm going to need to start applying the liquid latex in very thin layers. The tutorial I watched said about 5 layers, very thin, and hold off on doing the edges until towards the end so they're as thin as possible. I think my edges aren't really gonna matter a whole lot in this one because the edges are gonna be like near the edge of the face where the balaclava is. So yeah, I'm kind of nervous to actually put the latex on because I don't want to destroy the sculpt. I mean, it took a couple of hours, like it didn't take an entire day or anything, but like, so I'm gonna bone up on that tutorial real quick and then time for latex. At this point, I've already put maybe 3 or 4 layers of the latex, stippling it, but the last couple of layers, I really want to paint it on and get it in those grooves so that it'll appear a little less bumpy, but I don't know if it really worked or not. Okay, so the latex is dry for the most part. Yeah. And it looks terrible. It is so bumpy. I tried to go back over it, kind of more brushing it instead of stippling it, but it didn't really do any favors. But here goes. So the first step is to powder it all with whatever powder. So I'm using just baby powder so that it won't stick to itself. So I'm just gonna powder it all up. It is so bumpy. Hopefully this doesn't destroy the sculpt underneath. I mentioned I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't know, maybe it'll look better with makeup on it. Oh. So in the tutorial, she lifted an edge and then started powdering underneath that with a brush. Okay, so let me start peeling from there and attempt to take the edge up and I think it sucks. I'm gonna clean it up a little bit and put some cotton in it just to see if that makes a difference at all. Honestly, I don't have high hopes for this round, but it's all trial and error at this point, right? Yeah. Hello. All right, today is the clothes making process. I've got a bunch of thrifted items, a couple of tank tops that I'm gonna Frankenstein together, and then yield tulle skirt. I think I am gonna shorten it, and then with what I cut off is gonna be turned into a ruff if I can manage that. My sewing skills are extremely limited. And then I've got these clown noses that I spray painted black that I'm gonna use for like the little pom-poms. That was creepy, that door just opened. I swear I think this place is haunted. That door opens when the AC comes on, but I turn the AC off for the sound, so who knows. Alrighty, so let's go make some clothes. Okay, I haven't sewn anything in what feels like, I don't know, like years. So I've got some of the basic knowledge down, but I'm wanting for more, so I need to watch some tutorials of some real sewists, so don't come at me if you see some questionable behavior. Alrighty, so, okay, just need to cut it in half. So I should fold it in half maybe, get an even distribution. Okay. Here goes nothing. Yeah, literally nothing. I think I'm gonna stand up for this. Also, don't look over there at that wallpaper. I ran out of the vinyl wallpaper. At least I've got some grown-up scissors, right? You guys can credit me that much, huh? Why am I so nervous doing this? What's wrong with me? It's literally just for my own personal cosplay that I probably won't wear anywhere, except for Halloween, most likely. But when you're taking little kids trick-or-treating, it's probably not the best idea to wear an Art the Clown costume. And by the grace of the sewing gods, it's already loaded with black thread. Oh, but not in the bobbin, so that's cool. Well, anyone else go a little cross-eyed when you're trying to sew, or is that just me? Ah, I did it! I sewed them together! So the top is done, minus adding the pom-poms, clown noses. Goes up a bit higher than I was anticipating, because like I said, I'm wanting to do a saucy art. But I guess like just having boobs alone makes me into a saucy art. I might go back in and cut these down so they're at least flat on the back. It just looks huge and weird, so I am gonna cut it down real quick. And I'm not gonna use my pinking shears because I'm a grown-up who knows how to sew. And beyond the Earth's crust is a liquid lava mantle. Okay. Does anyone else with kids find themselves talking to adults as if they're children and then realize that you might be a little bit crazy? Because I feel like I do that a lot because I talk to my kids more than any adult, even my husband. So like just a little while ago, I was about to say okay and I almost said okay, and then I would have just embarrassed myself. So thank you for not letting me do that. Okay, how's it look? Do we like it? Okay. And now for the skirt. I might be a little thick for this skirt, but we all like a thick clown, right? So I'm gonna cut it off, I think. Yeah, I'm gonna do about a foot off the bottom. And because art is like ratty and tattered already, I think just hacking off the bottom will lend itself well to the look that I'm going for. Once again, don't come at me. Does this make you nervous? Because it makes me a little nervous. Like quarantine bangs, there's no going back. But this would make the perfect ruff. I'm gonna kind of keep it bunched up, figure out how I'm gonna do that. I've seen enough gathering that people do in their makes, so that's what I'm gonna attempt to do here. How did that happen? I don't know what I'm doing. Now, Art has a white ruff on his costume, but we go in darker than that, sweetie. Though I'm not sure how much darker you can go than Terrifier, which is dark. I have seen when promos for Terrifier 2 were coming out, there was a whole campaign saying that the movie was making people faint and vomit, and like, it's grotesque, it really is, but it's a movie and it's entertainment because you know that it's a group of artists working together to make something unrealistic. I love the art form of horror because it's, well, first, I'm a basic white bitch who loves true crime. So I think the psychology behind enjoying true crime, or not enjoying, but indulging in it, it's kind of preparing your mind for the worst. Like, what would you do in that scenario? How would you combat that situation that someone's been in? And by learning all the details, you kind of give yourself that ammo if you ever do come into a situation like that. And being women, we are more vulnerable to crime, violent crime. I think that's why there's so many of us just obsessed with that genre. I think that that extends to the horror movie genre too. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. You ready, friends? Oh, this is looking rough. Let's see. Oh. My God, she's done it. Okay, so the costume is finished, which means tomorrow is application day. So I still need to distress the gloves and cut off the fingertips. I need to figure out exactly how to apply a latex prosthetic because I think I have a grasp on it, but I just want to make sure that I'm doing it right so I don't just completely mess it up. I need to form the teeth to my teeth. Hopefully that's not something that takes like a really long time. I think it's just heating up the water and then forming it and then waiting for it to cool. This is going to be absolutely cursed, and I hope it turns out how I'm imagining it. If it doesn't, I mean, it's the first time I've ever done anything like this. So however it turns out, this is an experience and it's a fun one for me. So yeah, I guess it's time to get started. Let's go. Of course, the one day I'm going without makeup on camera, I've got that end of cycle glow. And by glow, I mean that of an erupting volcano. So, like if you can relate. So I think I'm gonna start with the nose and then move out from there so that everything gets evenly stretched. Okay, the nose is gonna be attaching mostly around this area. I hope that the cotton sticking to me is not gonna be an issue. Oh my God, my eyes are sticking together, oh my God. This is looking terrible. What am I doing? What am I doing? Oh my God, this looks terrible. If I stretch it out some more, it's not bad, I guess. Also, it's very, very yellow. I think that's just because there's so many layers of the liquid latex. And it's stuck to my fingers like crazy. Okay, so it's not as bad as it was, I don't think. Just gotta pull and open the mouth a little bit more too. Why so serious? Okay, we can fix this. We can make this work. We can do this, guys. My hair is sticking to my face. Cool. Okay, so I kind of think this might be as good as it's gonna get. Definitely look creepy. Obviously it looks unfinished because I still need to add color. This is one way to hide your adult acne, huh? You know, it's not half bad when I'm comparing it to my reference. What is this? What is going on here? Who is that girl I see? I haven't decided on a title for this video yet, but it's probably gonna be how I tried and failed to turn myself into Art the Clown. I wanna apologize to the original creators of this character and special effects makeup. So at this point, I'm just finishing up the black details, and then I'm gonna add some shading, which I really think made a difference, even though it was looking pretty terrible at this point. But I mean, it's not perfect. It's never gonna be perfect. And maybe with the full costume, it'll look better. So I guess we're gonna see it all in the reveal. This is hands down the most cursed thing I think I've ever created. I was feeling pretty about the whole process as I was doing the prosthetic, as you saw. But once I got into full costume and I started shooting, I was having a lot of fun. In the dark, you really don't see those really bad details, the bumpiness or the bad paint job or how it doesn't really connect to my face in a lot of areas. So I think it turned out great. It's absolutely horrible. And I FaceTimed my husband. He was taken aback, to say the least. I think with a lot of art projects, when you're in the middle of it, it feels like, what have I done? You're not really seeing the whole picture yet, and it's just kind of looking terrible, but like, I'm into it. I think it's fun, and I think it's awesome, and it's my first foray into any sort of like full-on cosplay with prosthetics, so I'm looking forward to doing a lot more of this kind of thing. I'm really excited to do more. Yeah, so I will be uploading weekly at this point, and I have some more creepy stuff coming. Not everything's gonna be a cosplay. I have some plans for smaller makes. Still pop culture inspired generally because that's what inspires me. That's gonna be it for today, so see you next time.